What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color, playing as Ra. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Hades. His name is Momo. The map is Oasis, and we've got a bit of a wild one for you guys today. I'm not going to lie, been having some issues with my Ra of late, and I'm watching this game out of pure selfishness to try and learn a little bit more about how these players play the game. I'm already seeing something that I don't do here with Ra, which is put 5 villagers on food at the start of the game. I already know the reason I don't do this, and that reason is that you want food and gold for temple and monument all at the right time. But Kimo might be doing something slightly different here in the early game. So we'll see exactly what he's going to be going for as he's scouting around with the Pharaoh, trying to grab as many of these goats as he possibly can. We do see that Momo here, he's kind of going aggressive with this Ketoskopos, but he's guessed the wrong way because Kimo's already scouted this location. So that is something that is kind of going to happen on Oasis a little bit on these like one whole Oasises is you guess the wrong way, and the Ra player will clean up everything as he does find. Oh, he finds the Tusk of the Iron Bull. That relic there is absolutely huge for any civilization to get, let alone just Ra. But he's going to be so happy with that. He's just going to spam camels out the wazoo, and it's going to be really, really tough for Momo to deal with an extra 10% on top of those camels there, as Kimo does find his hunt over here, so he's going to be really happy about that one as well. Already dropping villagers over onto wood, dropping his monument to the villagers down as well. House coming up as well, as the game is going to continue here. As villagers come over here doing all the good stuff. Momo doing a very, very standard build order here. You want to go roughly, here's the thing. If you've got 1,000 food over here, you want to go roughly 4, or if you want to go two granaries, in my opinion, you could probably put something like 5 or 6 villagers onto this food and then send villagers up to the other food. And that's going to be a lot better time for you in the classical age with how you're going to be moving around the map. As you do see an unfortunate death of a giraffe very far away from this granary there. Momo's going to be kicking himself that he didn't shift click this a little bit better. As we'll see how this game is going to eventuate. But Momo right now throwing a relatively forward temple up here. Momo might be going for Ares here. And I say this not for the fact that Ares or Athena is any better than each other. I actually think that Ares and Athena go pretty hand in hand in trying to do exactly the same things in this matchup. But what can happen here is with Ares is you get the Cyclops out nice and close. And if Kimo advances too late to the classical age, which it looks like he's going to be, you can actually deny this town center. So especially on a map like this with Momo finding his zebra nice and early, 1,000 food there, he's going to be able to have advanced here as he's getting his Ajax out as well. But he could have advanced here at 4 minutes, sent a Cyclops forward onto this location, and there would have been, and then with the Chiron following it up, there would have been no way for Kimo to get this town center up without using shifting sands, and that would have been a really, really big win for it, for Momo. But he didn't go for it, and we are seeing Kimo now moving over onto this food. It's a really, really nice food location over here for Kimo. Nice and far away from the town center. Now, the Ajax is looking like it's going to come over here and start harassing this, but Kimo should be okay. So it's a very late advance time from Momo, as he's now got 7 villagers on wood, 5 villagers on gold, indicating very clearly that he wants to go for a fast second town center here in this game. Kimo, on the other hand here, 8 villagers on the gold here. Does he have pickaxe? Yes, he does. As we do see husbandry coming through as well. As I don't know where this villager is going, but he's coming in. He's going to be shooting this giraffe nice and close to the granary. And now we see one of the most annoying things in the game is Ketoskopos coming and harassing an Egyptian pharaoh, because there is technically no real counterplay to that without being super inefficient and grabbing your villager away and trying to shank the Ketoskopos. Buff pharaoh against Ketoskopos. That's what I say. It's just super annoying. Anyways, we're starting to see walls coming up as Momo is throwing some stuff. He did decide to go through Athena, making his Minotaur out, going to send that forward and put some pressure over here. The Ajax, we still haven't seen exactly where it went. It did grab the nose of the Sphinx here. Both players getting a relic, which really, really enhances their own civilizations, main unique abilities. So Hades getting extra building protection and Kimo getting extra cavalry hit points. So it's going to be very, very exciting to see this, as we do see the priest and the villagers coming over here, but I don't know what Kimo expects here. He's just walking over here going, yeah, I'm going to get this town center up. So he's attempting to grab it. He's going to be villager fighting just a little bit here. As Momo's a little bit slow here in this game, as Chiron's not quite in on this location. So if Kimo wants to get this town center, he's going to have to fight this very, very nicely here, as the Pharaoh getting pulled back. The Wadjet is in onto this position. The shifting sands may have to be used on that Chiron for him to get that back up, as he does decide to do that, pulling the Chiron and the Ajax into the base. But now Kimo, while he will be able to get this town center up, I actually feel like they could have walked through here and been okay. But while Kimo will be able to get this town center up, Kimo is going to be getting hit on this location as well. He's in full panic mode at the very beginning stages of this game. Villagers pumping out of these town centers thus far as well, as Kimo is going to be pulling back into his main base over here and seeing what he can do to continue in this game. Right now, Kimo does have himself, I would say he's got himself Shadoof, and he doesn't have himself Plow, but it is coming through, so he can spam these farms up and have a good time here. So we'll see. Oh, he's going for a third town center. So on Oasis, this is actually something that can happen and be very, very strong here for the Ra players if they go for 3 town centers. But we do see Momo's already over here, and Kimo has not learned his lesson yet, ladies and gentlemen, as the Minotaur is going to be attacking these villages. But the priest and the Pharaoh is already out here, as Ajax and Chiron are going to be moving in onto this position very, very soon. We see the Wadjet retreating back. Kimo trying to mark this is the best visibility. The Pharaoh going to be empowering this one up, as the villagers getting pulled off of this location, trying to take down the Ajax here, and they do manage to do this, as the double heroes here from Momo have not been enough to thwart Kimo's attempts at getting 3 town centers here. The Chiron pulling back now as well. We'll see what his plan is going to be, as walls getting thrown up over on this location. Kimo has a beautiful gold mine over here, but just the one, as these walls are going to be very, very annoying for Kimo to deal with. You can see Kimo's not going to be able to see these getting thrown up at all. The towers are not having enough range there, and Momo's going to get a full map control sort of situation coming on. He's walling the entirety of this side off. He's walling over here off. Kimo does have a decent market he can put over in this back corner going to his hometown center, but that's about it going forward here. Momo now, on the other hand, he's going to be looking to get his own 3rd town center a little bit later than Kimo, but he did get his 1st town center faster. So at this point, Momo definitely has more villages than Kimo does, but Kimo's going to be able to get a slight catch up here as he's spamming these farms down as best as he can. He's going to have a ton of farms coming forward. We do see some barracks actually coming up here for Kimo super early. I'm interested to see what his plan is going to be with these barracks. Generally speaking, on an open map, barracks are going to be really, really strong, but on a closed map, barracks not so strong, because the opponent can make Toxotes and just defend everything with the behind walls and all that other good stuff. But we'll see how it's going to go. Momo at this hand taking advantage of some of these farms at this point. We'll see if some farms can come up over here as well, as the villagers do get those walls up over here. Going to move over and drop the get the walls up on that location, as well as another villager is going to be coming forward. We will probably see Momo start dropping military buildings around these gold mines and be as annoying as he possibly can with his buildings here. As Kimo, he's got his armory up. He's got himself, does he have himself the next tier upgrades for his gold mine? Not just yet, no shaft mine. Just scanning around his map. He has no idea where anything else is. He does spot some hyenas here, but that villager might actually end up losing its life here if Kimo's not careful, and it looks like he's not going to be careful, and will it get away? It looks like he doesn't, as that's a dead villager there. Kimo a little bit upset about that one, but he's going to have to deal with it. Double barracks is up now. Still, well, there's the mining upgrade coming through. Shaft mine on the way for Kimo. A very, very late advance time from Kimo in this game, as Momo has to be happy about how far he has come in this game thus far. His success thus far in this game has been very, very good, as we do see a military academy getting chucked down here. Momo's got to be fairly aware that because that relic was picked up, the bonus cavalry relic, HP on the cavalry, he needs to be making hoplites to deal with that. Hippocon are not going to trade well enough against them at all, even if you do get to like heavy cavalry and your opponent's still only a little bit lower than that, as we do see the Chiron coming back in here for Momo. Going to be a little bit annoying. He can hit this gold mine and be super, super annoying here moving forward, as Momo sitting on this location now with the Chiron. Going to be coming over onto this gold mine fairly soon, I'm sure. As the villagers continue to come through, Hathor is now in. Will we see an immediate Patsukos coming out here for Kimo? He's obviously going to throw up his Migdol stronghold immediately, but 2 Patsukos with the rock raids is a way to go, especially with the Chiron being out of position. But Momo's going to be pulling back at this point. More walls coming up over here, as Momo is just saying, look, I just want to reject you in this game from getting into my base. What Kimo can do, however, against this, which is something that I'm just realizing right now, is you can utilize this rock to fly over this this oasis here. So one thing you could try, if he sees all these walls coming up in a 3-town center, boom, he could actually grab the rock, grab 15 villages, fly over the oasis and find a spot here, or find a spot here, find a spot here to drop a Migdol stronghold, and then be sending units forward onto this location to jump over the wall and coming in to defend this spot with the rock as well after that Migdol is up. But we do see the rock coming through for Kimo onto this location. It gets pushed back, but now he has given away his position, as Momo will be immediately sending his Chiron over here. You can see the Chiron is already on this location. The Locust gets dropped. The Chiron has spotted it. Momo not paying attention just yet. There he goes, and that's going to be a dead rock and a dead Patsukos here coming forward, as the Chiron is fast enough to chase that one down, so long as he keeps a good eye on that one there. As the rock will go down, we do see the cavalry coming in onto this position as Kimo knocks down that wall. Look at those cavalry at this point, 177 HP, unupgraded at this point. As the villagers coming over onto this mining camp, this gold mine over here, military academy getting taken down as best as he can, as Momo now going up through Apollo. He is allowing Kimo ever so slightly through here. We see 4 hoplites in this military academy. He might be best just making a runner with that, as we do see some more military academies coming up. It looks like spearmen, cavalry here for Kimo, as he is pumping units out. He has no market up in that corner just yet, but trying to break through all of these walls over here. We see the walls getting thrown up for Kimo really nice and early to hold off on this location. A market coming up now on that spot there. A little bit inefficient, but no problems where that's concerned, because he will be able to move into the corner very shortly, as Kimo is going to try and secure that one for himself. Momo, on the other hand, he's going to have resources up the wazoo to get to the next age here straight away. The question is he going to be able to hold for long enough? Because he is really, really disrespecting Kimo at this point with the lack of military units that he has built at this point. He's got himself a military academy stable, archery range stable over here, Manticore coming down. We are seeing a market get dropped somewhere. Not just yet, as the cavalry do make it in to Momo's base. But here's the thing. Kimo's got no idea where he needs to go. He does spot some villages over here. Momo will be easily able to retreat away from this location. Already have the watchtowers up here to get some damage done, as Kimo pushing back these hoplites over here that are getting a little bit of pressure onto that location. The villagers do make a break for that watchtower there, as the market is going to get denied here, as Momo gets a little bit, I mean, he probably could have put it in the corner, but he was maybe a little bit worried about that, as Osiris is now coming through for Kimo. Momo, on the other hand here, still not able to advance. Maybe just chuck the market up in this corner. It would be fine, but he's going to go back up over onto that market here, finish that one off, be able to advance, making some units over here to defend. We are seeing some Hades Shades coming through for the clutch defense here, as Kimo, what is his plan to really get further ahead in this game? We do see Momo still coming through with these side builds in the corner of the map, as Kimo is going to have to defend this, come through with the Siege Tower, unlike Poseidon, who's really, really good with these side builds, because if you pick off these side builds, you're giving Poseidon like 6 militia here. Hades doesn't get that, and while the buildings do stay alive for much longer, you're not going to be really killing these buildings off. There's no reason not to do it. as Kimo is going to come in with his siege tower. Look how little damage this siege tower does to a building here with that tech, plus Momo's, with that relic I should say, plus Momo's Hades here in this game, as we see some more buildings getting thrown down here as Momo is motoring ahead in this game. He's got himself some good upgrades here. Hephaestus has been clicked up, and it's going to be a very, very defensively orientated game going on from this position. There might be a world here where Kimo's actual best bet in this game is to go for a wonder, as we see a third monument coming up. The reason I say this is Kimo has to spend all this time, as we do see a big underwall coming through by Momo here. Kimo spent all this time dealing with these side builds to try and get this corner so he can get a good trade route. But what he could do instead is just, instead of upgrading units, just rush Wonder, chuck it in the back, force his opponent after that, especially after that underworld is spent. You could possibly hold here for, I would say, 15 minutes fairly easily without losing anything, as we do see these units sitting over here for Kimo in this corner over here looking for some raids at some point, as we do see villagers sneaking through here for Momo, as Momo decides, look, I've got control of the top corner. If I take control of the bottom corner, that's going to be good as well, as we do see the medium Toxotes immediately targeting down the Son of Osiris, as we do see a big restoration coming through here. This Chiron needs to focus down the mummy, as it is now able to do so. The mummy, the Son of Osiris now getting targeted down yet again, as we're starting to see some mercenary cavalry coming in. Hephaestus does hit here for Momo, as he's still chasing that Son of Osiris back. Kimo now getting a little bit of a raid onto these villagers over here, but he needs units in this fight at this point, because Momo is able to make this spam work, making the Hippocon coming through here onto this position. A fortress coming down immediately for Momo is going to mean Heliopoli are going to be able to be trained there and start putting pressure onto this location over here, as the mercenary cavalry are going to be able to come through here, and it does look like he may be able to defend for the time being. But Momo is now set up. He's got his fortress up. He's got more units coming through. He's spending all his resources. He's got a lot of resources in the bank, mind you. He is getting himself for Forge of Olympus, so he can just sit back a little bit, leave Kimo a little bit of breathing space, and then get him his big units out and get his armory upgrades up right now. Meanwhile, this raid is still continuing along on this location, but it's going to be getting dealt with at some point. It looks like a couple of villages were indeed finished off over here, but villagers getting taken down over here as they're retreating away. Meanwhile, we do see that this has been pushed back, but now Kimo, he's got a lot of resources in the bank. He's going to have to start making these catapult out to deal with these buildings that are on this position. But I imagine Momo has to be thinking... He has to be thinking to get himself his Heliopoli out of this building, as the Toxotes is still trying to take down the Chariot Archers here. If you look at the difference between a Chariot Archer and a Toxotes, the Toxotes deals 7.8 damage and the Chariot Archer deals 10.2. But these Toxotes do only cost 2 population, so you can get a lot more of them, as the mercenary cavalry still flooding in onto this location for Kimo, as he is spending every little ounce of resources that he can, still utilizing this market as best as he can, as this Son of Osiris is starting to look very, very much out of position. But the siege tower is coming in now, going to try and take this down. Momo does have some he doesn't really have villagers over here that he can send through onto this location. He's got villagers over here that he could send over here to take these siege towers out, but this is going to be huge, because the underworld passage will be getting taken out here, as this Son of Osiris is still getting good damage done here, and Kimo manages to hold this position, as Momo finds himself in a very difficult position himself now. He's got no underworld passage. There's no more holding on this spot. Maybe putting some pressure over here wouldn't go astray, as we do see Momo moving some villagers forward, maybe going to throw up a fortress over here or something. As he does do that, will Kimo be able to see that is the big question. No, he can't. He doesn't have himself signal fires just yet. As Momo now going to sit on this location. He's only got 5 villagers building this one up. But there will be enough, and we will be starting to see those armory upgrades coming through for Momo as well. But the problem is going to be that Kimo is already setting up on this location to push through onto this town center. Look, he's got his watchtowers up already, so he's going to be able to slow push this very, very easily, as all of these buildings getting cleaned up. Kimo's going to be able to claim this corner of the map, wall this off, have a beautiful trade route set up. Momo, on the other hand, he does have his market set up in true Matrios fashion, not quite on the corner of the map here, but he will be starting that trade route, getting his fortified town centers, setting up over here. We'll see if Momo can get anything out here. He has a bit of a struggle here with the resources. I do think that in this position here, a little bit of a wall in onto this spot, and Petropolis straight away is going to be the best play here. And we do actually see Momo's doing that, but the wall has not been thrown up here just yet. He does throw you don't need to put a full wall here, just a one, but he's going to try it anyways. See if it's going to work. Is Kimo still trying to push forward here? His army is now starting to move over. He's got himself these champion spearmen here as the siege towers are coming through to break in onto this location. We see more guard towers coming down over here as he's trying to push through this location over here. We'll see if he's going to be able to do that as the catapult now starting to take down that siege workshop. Very smart to do that, getting this wall set up over there slowly but surely. It looks like the walls have stopped this one for the time being as the Son of Osiris is coming through here to defend. Momo's really struggling to get this population out as we do start seeing some mercenary cavalry thrown up here. Watchtowers getting dropped here, but we are seeing the spearmen breaking through this location as the towers continue to drop down over here. Momo doesn't have any real defenses on this location over here. Meanwhile, Kimo's starting to get his armory upgrades as well. I'm sure you can see him getting them all out of the one armory there as the Toxotes do pull back. The walls are starting to get up over here as this Colossus is starting to push through, as this might be a really, really good push for Kimo to try and do. We'll see how it's going to go. As the town center getting taken down, you have to finish off this siege works, as it does look like it will fall. Son of Osiris is going to be holding here. Kimo's got himself architects. He's got himself fortified town centers. He's got himself sun-dried mud brick, and this town center is going to be living for quite some time as the 4 siege towers start rolling in onto this location. Momo not paying attention over here for the time being as this catapult here needs to start targeting down the town center. There's not really that many villagers over here for Momo. He's got some over here, so he can move them forward, take out these siege towers, but these are siege engineered siege towers at this point, as we see some Castrophetes coming in to try and take out the siege towers as best as they can. The sentinels are getting taken down, the villagers coming through, but is it going to be too little too late as this town center is also going down? Both players here seemingly look like they're going to be losing a town center, but look at this Son of Osiris being absolutely obnoxious here, helping empower this one up with the repairing of the town center there. The villagers going to be cleaning up these siege towers as fast as possible, but Kimo's not finishing up here just yet. He's going to be spamming these towers up, pushing forward as best as he can. We see the spearmen swinging in onto this location, going to be able to take down those villagers as well, and Momo is in a very, very difficult position here as the catapults do manage to take, or the Petropoli, I should say, take down the town center there. 2 town centers apiece, still very, very close, but the question is going to be who is going to be able to secure what here first, as Momo is trying to produce some Hypaspis out onto this position to deal with these spearmen. The catapult coming through. Kimo is still going to be producing more and more towers over here, and to me this just looks like Kimo is going to be able to spam the mercenary cavalry and hold on this position, whereas what really can Momo do to hold over here? He needs to make towers, I guess, and deal with these siege weapons as well as making towers over here. You can see that Momo hasn't really thrown his towers up on this location. He's got a lot of resources currently in the bank, some idle villages as well, but he's going to continue to push through here, continue to try and take down these mercenaries. You do see that the upgrades have come through for Momo. He's probably at full iron at the moment, which is indeed the case, but will that be enough in this game as Kimo's still pressing forward with these towers? You've got 5 villagers calmly, collectively moving forward. Towers, towers, towers on this location. Very, very slow, methodical control of this location over here. Beautiful play by Kimo thus far as the catapult's starting to move forward. They're going to be getting sort of out of position here a little bit, allowing the mercenary cavalry to come in and take them out. As we do see a mummy moving through. Momo has spotted that, has pulled back. He does get himself the Silver Colossus here. We don't see any heroes in onto this location as the Silver Colossus retreats as fast as it can. The Toxotes trying to target this one down. Will the mummy get in there? It looks like the mummy is not able to get into range and does get snuffed down. Nice play there by Momo here in this game as we see some more ballister towers starting to come up as Momo's town center here is starting to look very, very scary. Momo doesn't have any fortresses on this location over here. 140 population apiece here at this point as the villagers are going to decide a tower right next to this settlement is going to be a good idea, as the Hypaspis are dealing with these spearmen nicely, but Momo here trying to break through this location, getting his line upgrades now. Heavy Toxotes, heavy hoplites here, making his way through. We see the Ballister Tower is up now for Kimo on this location here. Kimo's still going to be getting his armory upgrades here. He's got lots of resources in the bank. His trade route is fully set up. He's stopped his trade production here, and he is going full send on this location. We do see the Silver Colossus coming through here. Kimo, does he have a mummy set up? Yes, he is coming to deal with that Colossus here. The units just aren't able to push forward. Now we see some villagers coming in onto this location. If Kimo gets this town center, generally speaking, this means game over for Momo, as he's trying his best to get in here. And now the Baluster Tower is just about up here. The Pharaoh coming in to chuck this tower up as well. We'll see if that's going to be at all possible here. As there's the Baluster Tower. Villagers happily building this one up as quickly as they possibly can here. See the town center getting up very quickly now as Kimo goes straight up to 140 of 160 population here. As the mummy is in. Oh, no, micro. You built the mummy, but no, you wasted the mummy. More towers coming up here. Momo is Hades. He does have a tech advantage here in terms of armor. So he can technically fight here 2 versus 3 town centers, but it's going to be a tough one, as we do see the mummy does pop out. There goes the Silver Colossus as the Baluster Towers are trying to get taken down over here. More barracks coming up. We see the Kimo barracks doing as well as they can. As Momo doing his best to break through this location over here. Breaks those towers down, but the towers go up so absurdly fast. We do see Gastrophides coming in here as well. So now we're going to start seeing Momo dropping guard towers in onto this location here. As the catapults retreating back, but still getting chased down by this minion that's going to be able to take this down relatively quickly here. As the mummy's still holding this location nicely, and Kimo here, he is just going to be spamming buildings up on this location. Plenty of resources in the bank. Look at how cheap these buildings start becoming with sun-dried mud bricks. Siege Works 22 gold, Barracks 64 gold, Tower 170 gold, Migdol Stronghold 340 gold. That technology is so absurdly strong in helping with these building spams and making sure you can continue to do everything that you want to be doing here. As Kimo can now start, well, does he have him? Well, he's got making axemen for some reason. He's got scalloped axe, but these axemen are not going to be the best at dealing with buildings here. Should just get himself out some siege towers over there to clean up all of those buildings, or even just a catapult or something like that. As Momo is desperately trying to hold this location over here, we do see a siege works coming up for Kimo. 1 catapult will be able to stop this, but if Momo can get set up early enough, maybe he's going to be able to push through. But at this point, Momo is probably sitting 140 population, like fully sitting 140 population over here, and just not able to produce anything here. He's got such an economy over here. We do see the villagers sneaking up onto this location, going to be putting a stop to the trade route here with a guard tower on this location. Nice awareness there by Kimo to continue to cut Momo out of this game, as Momo does manage to somehow get over the get a score advantage moving forward in this game, but Kimo still, maybe he needs a couple more camel caravans. Now he has that 3rd town center up, but we'll see how it's all going to go. We do see the Metropolis is out over here. The towers are coming down. We see a villager getting targeted by the hoplite over here, as these guard towers are getting in as best as they possibly can. As more siege towers are going to be breaking in onto this location. Kimo does somehow lose a town center though there, as the Gastrophides snuck out of this location and they take that one down. Momo now leveling this location beautifully. We see the catapult is over here to hold off that town center. The priest there trying to empower it up as best as he can, as both players here are really going to be struggling at this point for population. 140 pop for Momo. Kimo's down to 140 pop immediately, as well as he's desperately trying to get this town center up and this town center up as well, as Momo is desperately trying to hold this one off. As we do see Momo going to be garrisoning units into this archery range here, as we do see the villagers coming over here to snipe down these Baluster Towers. The hoplites coming through to take out the villagers. Momo needs this trade route to be continuing here in this game, as we see, oh, it looks like the Metropolis not really paying attention over here. Kimo may be able to get this town center back up in the near future here if Momo's not careful. As we do see the Metropolis pulling back here, he's going to shoot a couple of those boulders there to prevent the town center from going up, but he needs to rebuild this wall over here, as we do see another siege tower coming in to take down this fortress with the help of the catapult at the back there to take this location down. We do see the siege tower taking down those archery ranges over there, as every single one of these archery ranges kind of needs to be taken down to stop the gas graffiti from cleaning everything up here. The gas graffiti does a lot of damage to these Bowser towers here, as we do see the villagers trying to get this settlement back up. But immediately the gas graffiti says, no, not today. Hoplites coming in here for Momo as well, as Momo's trying to shank these siege towers down, as the town center does end up coming up for Kimo over here, as those guard towers are getting cleaned up very, very nicely. Momo, on the other hand, plenty of wood in the bank to build plenty of towers, but he just doesn't have the villagers in the position to hold on to these locations that easily, as more towers getting thrown up here to try and secure this town center, and Kimo gets his town center back up somehow, some way here. Momo not playing it correctly, needed to get at least one gas graffiti here to be continuously targeting down this town center and denying it. If you look away for a second, the town center shoots up with Pharaoh empowerment plus 10 to 20 villagers here, as the siege tower moving through. Signal fires coming through here for Momo, but that's not going to help him hold this location in the slightest here, as Momo is slowly getting pushed back. No gold in the bank right now for Momo, as he's trying to make this this trade route work. But while this is all going on, the town center getting thrown up over here. Now Kimo can move his secondary Pharaoh, if he wants to, off of the market and send it over here to try and shoot this town center up here, as it looks like Momo not paying attention here to the best of his ability, but the Petropolis do come in and they do deny this one here very, very nicely. These catapult going to continue to push in onto this location. We do see the empowerment coming through onto the mercenary cavalry, as they do pop out, going to try and take out the Petropolis as best as they possibly can here. Units getting taken down. The mummy does fall. Chiron trying to hold over here. The gas graffitis do indeed lose the fight against the siege tower here, funnily enough. Though the gas graffitis do a lot more damage than you would think. They do 4 damage a shot there, as this town center is continuing to get to be attempted to get thrown up at this point. Maybe Kimo could take like half the villagers, throw the town center up, and the other half to build towers here to be enough of a distraction there, as the villagers get pulled off this fortress trying to take down the siege tower. This town center is never going down with Pharaoh empowerment plus the villagers building here, as you do see the laborers pushing forward. Maybe going to throw down a building, maybe a migdol or some more towers on this position over here. There he goes with the towers there, as the Chiron getting cleaned, or getting doing a lot of helpfulness over here, as another mummy coming through, as Kimo is still trying to break through. We see more buildings coming down for Momo, as he is spamming as best as he possibly can over here, as the champion chariots doing what they can. But this catapult going to be able to clean up this fortress, and Momo's forward here looks like it will be ever so slightly falling in on this position here, as it looks like Momo is just ever so slightly getting wedged out of this position and wedged out of this position here. Momo's got no resources in the bank here, and in that moment we see the priest coming in, and Momo decides to tap out. Cannot quite make it work here against Kimo, as Kimo just he's just managed to beat Hades in this position. 2 town centers apiece. I'm a little bit surprised about this. You saw that there was this point where Momo could take this town center back down, and honestly, if Momo just micros his Petropolis correctly, gets that wall in a nice position, he should be able to deny this town center forever. And then 2 town centers versus 2 town centers in this position will eventually go the wayside of Momo here. But allowing the town center to get back up in that position just means that Kimo has 3 town centers to 2 town centers, plus this one is going up consistently. So Momo's got that eye on this town center, and it's just an advantage for it's just too much of an advantage for Kimo to push through. Really nice gameplay here from Kimo. Momo almost made this Underworld work. I do think it would have been possibly a better idea to Underworld over here instead. Clean this town center up and then push back up through here with a big timing from Hephaestus, but he didn't go for it, and he did lose the game in the end here. But a nice try from Momo. GG, Kimo still the king. King Kimo indeed. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.